99% of people use Antigravity like a chatbot, but I'm running 30 AI agents simultaneously building apps 10 times faster. And here's one I built in just 30 minutes. This is a personal finance app that connects all my accounts. It sees transactions. I can set up monthly or yearly budgets. I can create goals. And most important of all, I can see all the reports and analytics. So I can see where all my biggest spending is. It's categorized in this nice little graph here. And I've got a chart of net worth trend over the next 6 months, 12 months, and so on. And here's how you master Antigravity better than 99% of people. So grab a cup of coffee and let me show you how to do it. Now, most people treat this like a ChatGPT with a code window, and that's why their apps look like garbage. But I'm gonna show you how you can make it 100 times better using Google's Antigravity. And if you haven't heard of this, this is Google's next generation IDE, or in layman's terms, this is an agentic builder. You can build anything you can think of. And think of it like Google's AI coding tool that functions like Word does for documents or Excel does for spreadsheets. And when you have it installed, it's going to look something like this. Now, don't be overwhelmed by what you're seeing. The vast majority of this has been built by Google AI. I'm just giving it pointers and obviously prompts. And I'm going to make your prompting 10 times easier with the source that I'm about to drop. Now, for the most part, Antigravity is a chatbot. On the right hand side here, you've got the prompting window. So you can prompt it in the English language or use JSON, which is what I'm going to show you. On the left hand side, you've got Explorer. So you can create folders. You can add guidelines. You can add screenshots. You can give Google Antigravity all the inputs that it needs to give you a tremendous output. But here's the difference between me and a beginner. A beginner will just start typing into the chat window or the prompt window without thinking about the overall project, but more importantly, without thinking about what they want for the output. Because if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And I'm going to show you one of Antigravity's hidden advantages. It's called MCP servers, and it connects Antigravity to a bunch of external tools. This feature alone is going to save you hours. And we put all of this together. This is what separates amateur builds from the masters. Now, the first important step is the framework. And if you skip this step, you will build faster, but you'll build the wrong thing. So I'm inside of Claude AI, and I found that this is the best language model to do this. And I put in it this prompt. I want to build a personal finance dashboard on Antigravity by Google. So use all the personal finance / SaaS tool best practices and output everything into JSON. Now, I did this using audio, so it's kind of misspelled SaaS, but that's beside the point. The most important thing here is A, I want the best practices for Google Antigravity, and B, I want the output into JSON, because the JSON output is going to give me the best output. It's 100 times better than prompting. Once it runs, it'll do an output like this. Now, this is a bit of deep research that will take a couple of minutes, but don't skip this step, because this is what's going to keep you ahead of 99% of the chase impact. So Claude understands the requirement. It's gone out and looked at code labs and Google developers. It's found documentation relating to Google's Antigravity. It's found key features that I want in this app and what should be included in a personal finance app. So it's gone out there and found the best personal finance app or services that are making millions, and it's actually included it here. It's also added some SaaS best practices, and finally, the most important part is actually created a JSON schema. And if I load up artifacts, this is what the JSON looks like. So effectively, it's prompting, but it's better than prompting in English because we're using machine code, machine language, which is what all languages models use, right? But it makes more sense to do it in a programming language like JSON because there's no ambiguity, right? Programming languages are binary. It's either true or false statement. So this will tell it primary colors, warning colors, backgrounds, dark mode, currencies, user profiles, account names, transactions, everything that Claude has told us that we need in this project. And honestly, this takes about 5-10 minutes, but it's the best 5-10 minutes you're going to spend on this project. Now, once you have this, I want you to copy it, but I don't want you to paste it into Antigravity just yet because there's a few more steps that I want to show you to get the overall look and feel as perfect as possible. This is a section where your apps starts looking like it costs $10,000 to build because I want to use best practices for the design, the UX, and the feel. And to do that, I'm going to go to a website called dribble.com. And this is a freelancing website full of coders and developers who, quite frankly, are going to go extinct once Antigravity gets out there. But they have a lot of ideas that we can snatch. So I want to find a design that I like the look of. And the first one that jumps out to me is this one here. And all you need to do is literally just take a screenshot of this and dump it on your desktop. And grab a few. If there's other designs that you like, other layouts, other colors. If it grabs your attention, it's going to grab your user's attention if you publish this app. So think about that. What's grabbing your attention here? And use that in the Antigravity build. And then once you're happy, create a new folder, call it personal finance app or whatever, and then paste all your assets inside of this folder. This is my favorite part of the entire build. We're going to put all these assets, all these guidelines, and the JSON prompt together inside of Antigravity and build a personal finance app. So the first thing you're going to do is click on File, Open, and point to the folder that's called Personal Finance, the one with all the assets in it. It will then open something like this. Now ignore all of these dependencies, files, these JSON files and readmes and all that. That's being created by Antigravity because I've obviously done this before and I built the website before I recorded the video. Now, as a side note, you can add brand guidelines. So if you've got a client or your own business that you're doing this for, if you've got color palettes, logos, a particular structure that you build apps or services in, then you can dump that into the same folder and use it, give it to Antigravity as source material. Remember, the more information you feed it, the more input you give it, the better the output's going to be. Once you're happy, on the right hand side in the prompt window, paste in the JSON code that Claude gave you, but also mention any of the reference images. So if you are using screenshots, just add a quick line. This can be in English, it doesn't need to be too complicated. Use the reference image as a design template. And you can see that I've just pasted the entire JSON code here. Let it run, and then this will take anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. Now, it took longer for me because I'm using Gemini 3 Pro, which is Google's most powerful language model. But if you wanted to be a bit faster and spend less time on this, then you can downgrade to Gemini 3 Flash, which is a lot faster. You've also got Claude Sonnet 4.5. You've got Thinking, you've got Opus, you've got a few others. But since I want the best possible output, I'm happy to spend 10-15 minutes longer with Gemini 3 Pro. And you can see here as I scroll through the prompts, that's actually building the core architecture, the layout, the dependencies, the libraries, everything that you would associate with an app or website. It's actually built in accounts and transactions as well, so I can sell this as a service to other users who can sign in. And I can connect this up to a database that's securely configured and that would save all their details inside this database, but it's still connected to the app. And I don't have to host any of this. And stick around because I'm going to show you exactly how you can host this app for free. You don't even need a domain name, and you can do it inside of Antigravity with something called an MCP server. So once you get a final verification, because I'm on a Mac, I can actually run a local test server and test this on the localhost 3000 port, which is what I did, just to make sure that it looked amazing and it's up to my high standards. So once it's ready, you're going to see a local host. Now I'm on a Mac. I don't know if it's the same on Windows. If it's not, don't worry, because Antigravity will tell you what you need to do. It's highly configured to your desktop, right? So it knows what you're using. You can see that I've started development server, so I wanted to test the app, and then I pushed it out to Netlify. But before we can trigger the MCP, we just need to set up Netlify. And if you haven't never used this before, it's a free hosting platform. I absolutely love it. I've actually switched over from Vercel to Netlify, and it's super easy to use. Sign up for a free account, and you can see that I've got a couple of projects in here already. Head over to user settings and then click on applications, and then you're going to set a new access token. So I've created one already for Antigravity. I've set no expiry because I want to use this indefinitely, and then you grab the access token. Inside Antigravity, click on these three dots on the top right and click on MCP servers. Look for Netlify, which is this one here. Now I've already installed this, so I've already got it enabled, but you're going to install it, and then it's going to ask you for that access token. Paste the access token in here and just make sure everything's checked. Once it's done correctly, you'll see that it's installed on the right hand side here. And then when you're happy with the output, tell the agent to push the app onto Netlify because it's connected to the MCP server. And as a quick recap, MCP just means it's a protocol. It just lets other applications talk to each other. So it's like how I communicate to all of you guys in the English language. It's a protocol. There's French, there's Spanish, there's Mandarin, there's all these different languages, and the same is true for technology. So MCP is just a unified language, and it just means that all these apps and services can talk to Antigravity inside of the agent. And if you've done it correctly, you'll have something like this that's hosted on the Netlify app. And honestly, it's so good. I'm really quite shocked as to the output I can achieve in only 30 minutes. And I can make this 10 times better, by the way, just by spending a few more hours on this and connecting up to databases, so I can start accepting users. I can add a payment gateway, so I can start charging them a monthly subscription. I can add logos. I can make it more dynamic. I can do so much more. But honestly, this step alone, you're already 99% ahead of your competition because they're so far behind. This is how you master Antigravity better than 99% of people. Use multi-agent systems, MCP servers, and instant deployment. This is a stack that separates amateurs from builders who ship. And if you want more great AI ideas on how to build a full-time business or a side hustle, click on the link on the description and I'll see you inside of my private community. And if you love this tutorial, click on the next video on screen. Leave your comments below if you got any questions. Try this out. Honestly, guys, Antigravity is going to change the world. So get started, get ahead of your competition, start building some amazing apps or services, and I'll see you next time.